So shut up, stop talking, cease and desist. There's a good girl. Go, 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 go.
Moisturize me, moisturize me.
Right. Welcome back to this very special, because we haven't really done this before. We haven't really had an occasion to do it. This special Minisode episode of Never Ever Eat Pears. Once again, joined by my fabulous co-host, Pete. And so there's two Minisodes. And first thing I want to kick off, because I didn't watch either of these when the episodes were airing. I think
Call yourself a fan.
I know. Oh. I know. But I did watch, when you sent me the link, I'd watched it by myself, and then I showed it to Donna, and both Donna and I thought, how did you find this? And what did this air?
I genuinely don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I think I might have seen it pop up on Facebook at some point.
Oh, okay.
Or it might have been on iPlayer.
It's not on iPlayer anymore. The only one that's on iPlayer is the prologue.
The prologue one's on iPlayer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not on YouTube.
No.
That I can find. But I have vivid memories of watching it.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
first thing that I suppose, because there's within both of these minisodes, there's something that's alluded to, that the Doctor has to go and see someone.
Yeah.
Did you know prior to the Magician's Apprentice, it is the Magician's Apprentice, isn't it? Who this individual was?
I had no idea. I had like thinkings. I think my main thinkings were that it was going to be Clara again, because again, she had disappeared from these two. Or I was thinking maybe is the Master coming back, because that was a very unrealistic kind of demise at the end of Series 8. So
it was very underwhelming. As much as it was a beautiful moment, it was a very underwhelming end for the...
Yeah, it was like, you can't bring somebody that big and iconic...
Yeah, and just have them blasted
get
away.
rid of them like that. Yeah. And then there's always things being thrown around, like, oh, maybe it's the Rani, maybe it's the toy maker again, or stuff. It was... Everything was being chucked around, so I was just like, let's just see what happens.
But within, if there is anyone watching along with us with this podcast, we won't allude to who it actually was until we get to those.
Yeah, we'll keep it
to
quiet.
Those episodes. But the first minisode opens up with the planet of Khan.
Yeah.
And I understand that we've only ever seen Khan and the Sisterhood of Khan in one of the Fourth Doctor serials, isn't it? The Mind of Morbius.
Yes.
And so I did a bit of research over the Sisterhood of Khan, and they, I think, originally are from Gallifrey.
I think so, yeah.
But they then went to Khan. I don't know if they were exiled or...
Can't remember.
Something. I suppose, shall we touch on their relevance prior to this prologue that we've seen, at least in New Who? Well, I suppose it's weird. It's a bleed over from Classic Who into New Who.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know if you really call it a minisode. It's quite long in terms of minisodes, like 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
With the 8th Doctor.
Had that been aired before?
I know. I think that actually came... though. I don't know, because it obviously alludes to a certain regeneration that we don't get until the 50th special.
So maybe this has happened. Yeah.
Yeah, because... Yeah, I think it may
I think it must have happened before, because, yeah.
The visual effects in it certainly suggest, because that spaceship looks like trash. It looks awful.
It must have aired before.
Yeah. But so we won't touch on that minisode too much, but it opens with a crashing ship with a character I can't remember the name of. And the 8th Doctor comes in to save her, but then she realizes that he's a Time Lord, and the war at that point I think has created a real negative kind of connotation for the Time Lords. But at this point, the Doctor has been completely dissociated from the war and just considers himself one of the nice Time Lords.
Yes.
Ship crashes, and he crashes on the planet Khan, and he is... Well, at the least at that point, he's dead.
He's pretty much dead, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sisterhood that, like, reanimate his body, but only temporarily.
Yeah, so he can sort his shit out.
Because they then offer him a choice of regeneration. They have, like, these goblets where they are able to choose, like, thin or fat, heroic, or, warrior, what do you need?
Yeah.
And that's where he relinquishes the title, at least initially, of Doctor.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to be a doctor right now.
Yeah, there's no need for a Doctor anymore. And chooses the goblet that then regenerates him into the War Doctor. But this individual, have the this, I guess, the leader of the Sisterhood of Khan. Have we seen her at any point after that, prior to this prologue?
I don't think we have.
No, I don't think we have either. I was
I
really
think she
trying.
popped up in that, and has popped up again.
Mm.
And then does she pop up anymore after this one?
I don't know if she does. I have no memory of it, but
I don't know.
I guess we'll
We'll
see.
have to find out.
Yeah, I might do some scrolling for Big Finish stuff and see if there's anything. I'm so sure there probably is.
Yeah.
And the Doctor finds himself on Khan again, and with this leader of the Sisterhood of Khan, and he's talking about someone that he has to go and see.
Yeah.
That he's planning to meditate for a bit. He might stay on Khan for a bit, meditate on top of a rock.
Oh, yeah.
But he gives the Sisterhood something.
He does.
Am I right? And I don't know if this is a bit of spoilerage, because this is the end of this season that we really get to see what this is. If I am right in thinking,
Yeah, no,
that's- it's the confession diary.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't think we've ever seen one before.
No, I don't think we have.
I think this is the first time we've seen it.
I did have to do a bit of research because I wasn't sure if this lady had appeared as a Time Lord in a different regeneration. I don't know if you've seen, they've done very recently, they did a trailer for a revamp of a Fourth Doctor's season.
Ooh.
And once the episode's done, if you want, I'll show you. It's a really cool minisode. It's a lady Time Lord who has very similar name to this. I don't know if I've noted the name of this leader of the Sisterhood of Khan. I don't think I have, but her name's very similar to this woman's name, and it's like the fall of Gallifrey. It's all animated beautifully. There's Daleks and stuff. It's really cool. But I'll show it to you. But well, I was about to allude to who he's talking about, but we won't do that until we get to that.
But I don't think we've had any. The Doctor's literally just giving her this.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen her being trustworthy enough to receive this. This is quite a big deal.
Because he talks about having to see an enemy, but she says something along the lines of, "But we're friends," and the Doctor responds to, "But I don't even like you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, 'cause obviously, you can't trust a word he says. But if he's decided that this woman is trustworthy enough for this, she must have done something. I know she's obviously helped him regenerate.
Yeah. But that wasn't a particularly pleasant experience, because I think he asks in that episode, will it hurt? And she's just like, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. At
We
least
may
she's
have
honest.
concocted this, but we haven't made it pleasant
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
It's not going to suck.
Still going to be an arseache.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose the Doctor's always been a weird one for giving people things when he should trust them and then doesn't. Like Martha's probably a grand example of that. Her getting a TARDIS key halfway through a season.
Yeah.
And then Matt Smith giving the key to any incarnation of Clara he can.
Here you go.
But it's quite a short mini-sode, this one.
Yes.
It's just literally the conversation between the Sisterhood and the Doctor.
Yeah.
So shall we move on to mini-sode 2?
Sure.
Am I right in thinking that this is the castle from the Robin Hood?
I don't know. I think it's
similar tune
probably
that's playing in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It might be a reused location.
Probably. At least they use the same music.
Yeah,
It's like, no, this is still the same castle. I do love the "How many days have I been here" opening with the Doctor, because we've got a Bourse, I think is the name of the knight,
who rocks up later. Yeah.
And oh wait, is he later in?
He's in Magician's Apprentice.
Is he? Oh wow, I thought this was a one-off.
No, he's in Magician's Apprentice for
my gosh.
a little bit, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And the Doctor, Bourse replies, "It's been 3 hours."
Like nearly 3 hours.
Yeah. And we once again get that beautiful kind of realization that the Doctor just can't kind of sit still.
Yeah.
I think it was the Slow Invasion. We really got to see that with Matt Smith's Doctor, where
oh yeah,
he was like
yeah,
doing 1,000 kicky ups, penting a fence, and all that
and it's
stuff.
been like 2 hours.
Yeah. So, that's something that I didn't even allude to the thing I talked to you about when you when you came into the apartment today.
No.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, because there is something the Doctor mentions. But the Doctor before that is delaying once again seeing this mysterious creature.
Yeah.
I think the word creature's used.
I think he says creature. Yeah.
Yeah. and the doctor goes for a sip of a goblet and recoils. I thought initially when he did that, because the doctor's always had an issue with drinking anything alcoholic.
Yeah.
I thought it was just another moment
like
of that.
he's got mead or something. Yeah.
Although when we see the doctor in Bill's arc, doesn't he have like full on whiskey on the desk?
I think he
He has
does.
a decanter of something.
Maybe he's just trying
Although
to
knowing
look
him, it's
normal.
probably apple juice.
Oh, it might be
something,
apple juice. Yeah, he's just trying to look
Fine
normal.
decanter, yeah. And the doctor says that they need to dig a well.
Yeah, because he doesn't like this water.
And he says he's very good at water, which is that an allusion to Waters of Mars?
It's got to be, right? It's got
So
to be.
I had my own Waters of Mars moment. Only Friday, just gone. So I was the part of the reason why the apartment's a bit of a state as well. I was running a tabletop session known as Deadlands, which is like a spin-off of D&D, and I did my first ever costume change during that. Most people who run tabletop games don't do a costume change mid episode, but I did, and I was trying on all the stuff. And as I was doing it, I heard like a sound of a water droplet hit the floor.
Oh.
And I looked around. And I thought, okay, I don't know if it's condensation from something. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But I think that was Thursday night. But Friday night, I was in the room again, and I heard another water droplet hit my bed this time.
Oh no.
And another, and it was, and I could hear cracking as well.
Oh.
And it was dropping in different places as well. And I could see that it was coming through the ceiling.
Oh no.
And I could see that there was a big old crack that had formed in the ceiling. So I got that's the reason why the duvet's behind you.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
And yeah, well, it's fine now. But so I retrieved that, got a big old Tupperware box, which fortunately was empty, and put that under the main drippage. But then I heard another drip, and it was coming through one of the lights.
Oh shit.
And I could smell burning as well, and so obviously turned the lights off as quickly as possible.
Oh.
I also noticed that my walk-in wardrobe that I have straight off my room, the water had come down and followed, because as you can probably see, I'm in pretty much what would have been the attic space of what this old building used to be, and it was following that and then going into the walk-in wardrobe. The walk-in wardrobe, everything, the floor was sodden.
No. Oh no, mate.
Yeah, so I was freaking out, and
Yeah.
fortunately my landlord, absolute like credit to him, Friday evening about 7:00 when I finally discovered this, he came over with a ladder and went into the attic space, which is essentially a crawl space. It's real tiny. And what had actually happened was my hot water pipe, which came away from my boiler, had blown.
Oh god.
And was just flooding water through the ceiling.
Oh man.
Long story short, it's fine now, because I was able to. There's a manual tap up there that turns off the hot water, so I still got water, but just
Not hot.
They're coming tomorrow to fix the pipe, but that whole thing's going to have to be redecorated. So I dare say rewired as well if it's going through the light.
Oh man, that is not good.
But I did, because I did have that. I can't remember the name of the character,
sod.
but the one who, as they're trying to escape the base and get to the rocket, there's that one droplet that comes down, hits him in the cheek, and so one drop, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
I did have that kind of moment.
No.
But yeah, it's water always wins was very much a thought on my mind.
Oh no, man.
Fortunately, I didn't.
Is all your stuff okay?
Yeah. The one thing I was worried about is at the back of the walk-in wardrobe, I've got, because I think I alluded to you in the last episode, I used to work for Lego, and they gave a lot of colleague exclusive sets, and one of those sets is a Christmas X-Wing.
Oh wow.
Like fully decked out, the classic red and white.
That is awesome.
That currently is selling on eBay for $1,000. Unboxed, which mine is.
Oh wow.
And I just thought, if
that's
sparked,
wet,
I'm so mad right now. But fortunately, everything at the back of the wardrobe's fine. It was just the floor that got sodden. But those are all raised on like a little wooden seat. So yeah.
Bloody hell, mate. Jeez.
That was a lot on Friday.
I bet.
To then have to prep for Deadlands the next day. And just be like, fortunately, Donna, absolute shout out to you. She was kind enough to help me with the last bit of the clearing up.
That's because she's the boss.
Yeah, she's wonderful. But yeah, that was my own Waters of Mars moment.
Oh no.
So the doctor, I can't remember how many days, because we do get like a almost like canvassy reminder of how many days. I think at one point, does it say 8 to 11?
8 to 11, yeah.
And the Doctor's just wandering back and forth with
whole group
Boss
of
and a
people.
whole group of people. Doesn't he say something like, this feels like watery grass.
Follow the squishy. Yeah.
And the Doctor also alludes to something quite fun where he says, the Boss says this is the 12th hole that you've made us dig, and the Doctor says 12 is my lucky
12 is my lucky number.
Is that just simply because he's
Because he's number 12, I assume so.
So the world's built, and Boss says you not only have water, but the finest
This is
in
the
land.
finest water, and the well's pretty.
You can now start your meditation, and the Doctor's just looking off to the side a bit sad, like, oh yeah, I guess I can.
I guess I could.
You know what this well could do with? And Boss is like, nothing. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's the best well
fine.
you've ever seen.
And the Doctor says a visitor's sense.
And then Boss just fucking drops the rope.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done. Drops the rope, walks out of frame. I think it's brilliant.
And so I think a few more days pass, and Boss walks over with a load of scrolls. I can't remember what the Doctor then.
He's trying to do a magic trick with a
Oh
coin. isn't he?
yeah. And he asks Boss to watch the coin, and he
Yeah.
tries to do a magic
Just-
trick and
just
doesn't.
shakes his hands around. Bless him. It's just like, which hand is it in?
And Boss, I think he guesses correctly,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Like, no.
Well, yeah, because he barely moves it. He just does this.
Is this a tie-in to the magic that Matt Smith's Doctor tries to do in your favourite Christmas special,
Maybe, yeah.
where he's constantly
Where he's
asking the kid if it's his card, and he's saying no.
No, it's not my card. Yeah.
And
I think he's just showing he's a bit useless, but bored and trying to sort of do some stuff.
but the Doctor does then go back to his meditation room and says that he needs to be
to actually do
quiet,
it.
silent as the grave,
Yeah.
and starts to lay down candles and sketch down on the floor. And Boss, doesn't he say, I think you're not capable
I
of
don't think you're
silence."
capable of that.
It's
Yeah.
like, all right, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna
I'm
do
going to
it.
show you now.
Literal seconds later, he's calling out for Boss again.
Yeah.
Brings out his spoon and says, "Are you any good with a
broadsword?" Yeah.
Do you want a friendly?"
Yeah. And then Boys is like, mate, this
You
is
know,
enough.
this is enough. We've
Yeah.
got to. What is it that? Can you tell me why you came here and why you're so compelled now to leave?
Yeah. I've had
How-
enough of your stuck.
Fucking dare they start the Doctor's story off with the fucking 11th Doctor's music? Fuck you. I was welled up with tears because that.
It was beautiful.
It was.
It was really
but
nice.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you and I know what he's alluding to, where he says he let someone down in a moment where he should have been stronger.
Yep.
I love the idea. I mean, you can really kind of dive into what he meant by this, where the Doctor says he was looking for a bookstore and found a battlefield. I suppose this may make me sound, I don't want to say stonery, but like someone who kind of goes off on philosophical rants. But I suppose every person who writes a book, elements of that are based off a battle, whether it be physical or metaphysical of their lives that have created that story.
Yep.
Walking into a bookshop, if you plugged that just into the TARDIS may interpret that as a literal
A
battlefield.
literal battlefield, yeah.
Because we always know that the TARDIS is, particularly in the 12th Doctor's run, is just hilariously unreliable.
Oh, yeah. She don't care.
And we get a little snapshot of this battlefield. We get the sound of planes. We get the sound of firearms.
See people running through the mud.
running through the mud. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where the episode
That's where it finishes.
ends.
Yeah.
I was able to find a clip where someone was talking about this episode, and they were alluding to the person who is. Oh, yeah, because the Doctor also says the person's sick. That's something that we didn't cover. Oh, beans. So I think it's Boss who asks about who this person is. And I can't remember what the wording is, but I think the word enemy is thrown around. And the Doctor says that an enemy is just a friend you do.
Oh, he says that to the sister.
Oh, is that to the sister? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she says, you owe this creature nothing. Your enemies. And he said, oh,
Yeah.
an enemy is a friend you don't know yet.
Yeah, which I suppose is beautifully right, because
It really is.
an enemy is someone that you have a disagreement with. You just don't understand their viewpoint.
Their
Because I
views.
suppose most villains, they believe they're doing right.
Yeah. A lot of villains aren't villains in their own head.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense, and it's quite a
It really
beautiful
does. Yeah.
thing. I suppose a little, because Doctor Who for a lot of people has always been a wonderful bit of media where you come away from it and almost want to do something better. You feel compelled
Yeah.
to change something in your own life. And And that again is one of those moments where perhaps someone you've had a disagreement with, you just didn't understand their viewpoint, and I suppose vice versa, they didn't to you.
Didn't understand yours, yeah.
So it's just, I cannot wait for us to get to The Magician's Apprentice, because there's beautiful moments in it, but again, it's one of those moments where I think it should have kept on going to what it alluded to, and then not backtracked.
Yep.
But I suppose we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But I quite like these two mini ones, because it's the first one's a little bit dark and gloomy, but then the second one just chucks in a whole bunch of silliness, which I think is nice, because people forget that it's a kids show.
Yeah.
And this is really like properly childish, but then swings you back a little bit.
Yeah.
I really like them. I thought they were really cute. Slightly pointless. Like, I feel like they weren't necessarily needed.
Well, I suppose they were building up. They were alluding to whatever this
They built up some of the lore
creature was, yeah.
created some of the tension and stuff. But
so, I mean, we'll probably get to this because I think it was thrown around in media at this point anyway, so it's not really a spoiler. But this season is Clara's last.
yeah.
And I don't know about you, but the last couple of episodes of this this season that we're going into are some of Capaldi's strongest, because I retain that he's one of the Doctors where he does so well without a companion.
He doesn't need them. No offense, he doesn't. Need them.
No.
He just doesn't. He's because he basically has a one-hander at this point, doesn't he? In this series, and it's perfect.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it's a very little version of Capaldi that we get, because the majority of it, although saying that, he does beautifully with Bill.
Yeah, he really does. It just took him so long to find his stride.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was necessarily his fault. I
No.
think it was what the writers were trying to do.
No, because Capaldi has always acted his socks off
Yeah,
in
yes.
every Doctor Who appearance he's ever made.
Literally every single one. And it just, I think the writing really let him down in Series 8.
There was something that I was hoping we could discuss at some point, because I know we've always talked about what happens when we get to the end of Capaldi's run. Where do we go with this podcast?
Yeah.
It may sound like a bizarre idea, but it's a tie-in to Capaldi at least. What if we were to do Children of Earth?
Oh, we could.
Because that's some of the strongest Capaldi acting I've ever seen within the Doctor Who universe.
It's solid.
And I'd love to cover
would be good.
it's probably, at least for me, it's my favorite season of Torchwood.
Oh, by far.
I
Yeah,
didn't realize that it was
love
released because it spans 5 days, but it was released
in 5 days.
within 5 days,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah,
to think
I love that. I think that's what, going to sound old, but I think that's what is the problem with like streaming now and everything being available now. Like, waiting every week to see Doctor Who is great, and then when they do things like that where it's over 5 consecutive days, but they actually air it over those 5 days, it just makes it realer.
Yeah.
Realer. That's not a word. It makes it more real.
You feel the conflict with the characters, because that, unlike the other series, is you're meant to be hitting the feels. You're meant to feel these personal losses and things like that. You feel it because the characters are feeling it along with you within each day.
Exactly, yeah.
Unfortunately, I never really got to experience that, because I think I was still too young at that point or I didn't really know Torchwood at that point to
I probably shouldn't have watched it, but I did.
And that's a heavy old season to have to deal with.
Yes, it really was. Probably wasn't ideal to watch it when I did, but it was bloody good.
It is very, very good.
I remember just crying. And my mum sitting there going, "Oh, this was bad.
Shouldn't have put this
Shouldn't
on.
have let this happen."
But thank you so much once again, Pete, for joining us.
Of course,
for
man.
this fantastic mini-sode.
Yeah.
Once again, if you do have any comments or speculations, do throw them in the comment section. We are currently only on Spotify and YouTube, but we hope to branch out.
Yeah.
Do tell your friends, because we want to build a little fan
Build that
base.
up, yeah.
A very different way of looking at Doctor Who, starting weirdly in the middle.
In the middle. Yeah.
But we may divert back. Who
Who knows where we're going to go?
But until the next time, never ever eat pears.
Yeah.
Don't do it. And we are flying into time and space.
Moisturize me, moisturize me.